My friends, welcome to our Advent Homily series. Each Sunday Mass will connect with the week previously, so you know what that means. You're stuck with me for the whole season of Advent. Sorry. The title of this year's Advent theme is Preparing Our Hearts for Christ. We want to be prepared for Jesus' birth. We want to be intentional during our Advent season. We don't just want to be putting up decorations, going to Christmas parties, going shopping, buying gifts, and suddenly have Christmas Eve upon us. That's for everyone else. We want to be ready. We will be prepared. The first Sunday's Advent theme is titled, Stay Awake, Don't Miss Christ When He Comes. I'd like to begin with a joke. A priest once asked a group of second graders during Advent, "Kids, what does it mean to be ready for Jesus?" One little boy shot up his hand and said, "It means you should always behave and be good." The priest smiled. "Excellent, but why should you always behave and be good?" "Because you never know when the priest is going to come back." So our Advent begins with a wake-up call. Not a gentle chime that gradually gets louder like my Alexa does every morning. No, Jesus begins Advent by shaking us awake. He says in the Gospel, they were eating and drinking, marrying and giving in marriage, up to the day that Noah entered the ark. They did not know until the flood came, and it was too late. Therefore, stay awake. Jesus says, you do not know the hour. Now we know this gospel happened near the end of Jesus' life. I find it interesting that the church offers this passage on the first Sunday of Advent when we are preparing for the birth of Jesus. In this reading, Jesus is not trying to frighten us, he's trying to focus us. But why a second coming reading? It's because Advent is not only about preparing for Christmas, it's also about preparing for Christ. Advent has two focuses, not one. The first coming, Jesus born in Bethlehem, and the second coming, Jesus returning in glory at the end of the age. Most people only think about the first one, but the church insists we remember both. I'd like to share a short story, and I'm sure this will jog a memory for those of you with children. A woman once shared about a time that she and her family visited the Grand Canyon. Her teenage son, like many teenagers, was glued to his phone. As they reached the overlook, everyone gasped except him. He glanced up for half a second, said, "Cool," and went back to texting. Later, when they returned home, he said, "Mom, I wish we could have seen more." She looked at him and said gently, "Well, you were there, but you weren't really awake." That's Advent. Most of us aren't actively rejecting Jesus. We're simply distracted by work, by life, by disappointments. We're present, but we're not always awake to what's really important. So take a moment now to think of what's really important to you. I'll give you a few seconds. Is how I am spending my time support what's most important to me? Hopefully our faith was one of those important things that came to mind. We can go to Mass, live our routine, say our prayers, but never truly be awake. Paul says to us today to put on the Lord Jesus, not a seasonal Jesus, not a December 25th Jesus, not a New Year's resolution Jesus, but a new identity. Put on the Lord Jesus. That means to live like Jesus and be prepared for his birth and his second coming. Advent then really asks us a single question. Will you be prepared and recognize him when he comes? It's not only about counting down the days to Christmas. It's about waking up to Christ, who already came 2,000 years ago and will come again, and who is already here. So this week I invite you, notice God in the small moments of your life. See God in others. Slow down. Practice attentiveness. Stay awake. Don't miss Christ when he comes, because he already is.